Welcome to another edition. Here we are from the Bleacher Sports Show. We're talking about NWA Powerrr. This is their first episode since the pay-per-view of Hard Times, which was very impressive. Gave it a 7 out of 10. Check out Hard Times. But NWA Powerrr, title of the episode from Tuesday, January the 28th, was entitled Dealer versus Villain. Dealer versus Villain. Just a few thoughts that we're going to bounce around here on in no specific order whatsoever. To kind of touch base on a few things. It's not a recap, but give you my thoughts there, overall thoughts. First, we had Nick Aldis come out. Being interviewed by Sean Mooney. I do want to talk about Sean Mooney, who is an old school name. Us old school wrestling fans who remember Sean Mooney. You remember Sean Mooney? He was on WWF TV way back before Todd Pettengill, before Michael Cole came on. He was before that era. Not really for like the longest time. He was more doing like studio work with the WWF. But it was quite some time ago. You really got to be an old school fan to kind of remember who Sean Mooney is. And that's fine, because I think for the audience that watches NWA Powerrr, they know who he is, because it's mostly a lot of diehard old school wrestling fans. And over the course of time, I'm sure Sean Mooney will be more on your TV screens, and you'll get to know him and his personality and what he offers. He was brought out this week, during the interview for Nick Aldis in that opening segment. It's a little bit confusing. I don't know what they have planned for Sean Mooney. Maybe a 3-man booth, perhaps, in commentary. Or maybe, Stu Bennett. I don't know what they have planned for Stu Bennett. I don't know what Stu Bennett's plans are. Maybe is Stu Bennett thinking about wrestling for the NWA? I know he's a part-time wrestler. He's not officially retired, to my best of understanding. I know he's been doing commentary recently in other promotions. But will Sean Mooney replace Stu Bennett in the play-by-play analyst type of role there? Could Sean Mooney even do that? I mean, who knows? And I'm sure that will develop in the weeks ahead. It's just right now Sean Mooney kind of joins a position as an interviewer where you already have quite a few people already interviewing for a 1-hour show. I mean, you have Dave Marquez there. You have, about right now, including Mooney, even Joe Galley does it too sometimes. So it's like you have already a combination of about 3 people, Mooney being 4. I mean, does Dave Marquez go in the back, or what exactly, who's going where, I guess is where to say. And what's the final result? For the time being, this is how they introduce Sean Mooney. I just, don't want it to be too cumbersome and too confusing, because it seems like for now anyway, they're a little bit too much announcers for a 1-hour show, and it's almost like they're doing one segment apiece as far as interviews. Whatever the case may be, I'm sure they're able, with their wrestling experience and what they're able to bring to the table, I'm sure they're able to contribute some things to the back as well, to creative or whatever that may be, or how to talk, how to cut a promo and TV, and I'm sure their knowledge, they're able to be contributing members of the NWA roster either way. And all this in that opening segment there, he kind of sets you up of what's to come at the end of the episode, right? So sets up a big confrontation at the end. Excellent mic work, excellent promo work done by Aldous. Love the interview. That's the one thing, that I will say as far as, this episode of Powerrr was more, you had some matches, but it was more, interview promo geared. And I could say this, okay, I know the rosters are smaller with NWA, but on a collective whole, between, let's say, WWE, AEW, ROH, the people from NWA have probably the best talkers in the business. These guys, it doesn't seem to me like they have a script. I'm sure they have a guideline. They're not being overly produced. They just go out there, focus on the talking points and what they have to sell, and they do a good job. Like every interview promo was good. All this beginning, awesome promo. Melina, Thunder Rosa, and what their parts were. Good. Marty Scurll, all this, back and forth. This jackass is just honking. That back and forth was good as well. So these guys are, they're not lost on the microphone, on the stick. They know what they're doing. And quite honestly, take notes, WWE. Take notes, AEW locker room. These guys are killing it out of the park. Love the confrontation, the back and forth, some funny lines between James Storm, Eli Drake, and Aaron Stevens and the question mark. Love that back and forth. Some genuine laugh out loud moments. Like, laugh out loud. I'm still going to stick with this. I'm getting tired. I'm getting a little bit tired, though it's funny. The content is funny, but I'm getting a little bit tired of the national, of the NWA national champion being almost, referred to as a karate belt. It's getting a little cringe for me. Listen, the content is funny. It's just the idea of, no, that's not what the NWA belt is. It's a little bit too much for me. A little bit too much. Who would have thought, having a catchphrase of "Let me talk to you" could get over, right? The simplest generic things, work. And that's what it seems like this roster, especially you could look at it again, all the promos from this week and various other weeks. Like, everyone that's there seems to be enjoying being there, and everyone is not tense. And when you're happy and you're kind of being able to get given the reins and kind of go off the script a little bit, people more relaxed, and it seems, and it comes out naturally, what these people are saying. It's them. Ricky Starks, again, congratulations to Ricky Starks, who is your TV champion. I liked, again, how they prop the TV, how he props the TV title when he's being interviewed. Like, this is, admire the belt. This is an important title. It's not worn around his neck, swinging from his neck. No, it's not like he's dropping the title, carrying it where it's scraping the ground. It's up high on the interview console, and he's speaking about his title and how he fought. How important it was, that victory to him. I like that presentation. It's a little thing that matters. And quite honestly, I probably want to be Ricky Starks, because we come to find out that you just have to take care of, have 7 straight victories, and then you automatically get a shot at the world's heavyweight champion. Interesting. See, they do these with that stipulation. The TV title, you have a 6-minute, 5-second time limit, kind of carrying over that kind of stipulation from the initial TV title tournament. 605, and I get the correlation. 605, TBS, old school, like I think back to WCW, 605. And that TV title was defended almost every week, which is what you will most likely see, from Ricky Starks, week in and week out. So even if he just has to hold on to the title for 6 minutes and 5 seconds, as long as he does not lose, if it's a draw, then he's fine. He's still golden. Doesn't go against him. If I understood my stipulations here correctly. Not exactly too keen on that. What if the guy tries to be an asshat, and he's afraid that he's going to get pinned by, let's say Ricky Starks is going up against, a giant, let's say Ricky Starks is defending his title against 4 guys at one time. Ricky Starks could be, just running around, or, running around. That way he doesn't get pinned. And it comes out to be a draw, and he said that's fine. He's golden, right? So, am I missing something? As long as he's not pinned. So, he could go around this and be clever if he wanted to, and still have the luxury of eventually getting a title shot. Right? Or am I missing something here? And I'm pretty sure that's what the rules are. So if that's the case, I really don't like that, that stipulation of the rule. That where if it's a draw, it doesn't count again. I mean, you're still good, and your chances in getting a title opportunity, as long as it's 7 times that you're undefeated. It's the little things that matter. And we've seen that final interview segment there where Skrull is speaking with Aldis. And Aldis is kind of, upset. He's like, listen, I don't understand what you're doing. We've known each other for so many years, says Aldis. We've wrestled before, and I respected you. And then you come in, you come into my house. Why are you coming into my house? This is my thing. You got your own thing there. You have this ton of money. Yada, yada, yada. And Skrull, I'm paraphrasing here, says, it's never been about the money. It's the fact that I have never been, a world's champion before. And that's what he wants. He's like that. When he lost in the Crockett Cup, last year, that's what's they've always been talking about, him losing to the Crockett Cup. And that's been weighing on him. He wants a shot. He's never been a champion. He wants that shot. He wants to be world's champion. I like this context. I like this back and forth. Again, great. You were drawn in to this promo, this segment. Back and forth was coherent. It made sense. It highlights already. You're starting to build for the Crockett Cup pay-per-view coming up in the last week of April. So you're already starting that. You're already showing you're going to have a time frame where you're able to build this for a long period of time. So it's going to be a very windy, intriguing storyline. You're starting now. You have plenty of time. I like that aspect. I like the fact that Aldis, unless I'm seeing wrong, was wearing a kind of the Crockett Cup emblem on his jacket. Signifies importance. Signifies that even though he's a world's champion, the Crockett Cup is also on his mind. Trying to show everyone that he is the best. Like that old school stipulation to a degree. That old school stipulation, about the purse, about the money, where Skrull, if he does not win, he has to reimburse everyone there their ticket that they paid for. Which almost, like, if you think about it, unless they kind of change this around, swerve this around, that almost means right there that Skrull is going to win, just based on that stipulation. Right? So it's like, already did you give away the spoiler? I mean, so suspension of disbelief. Sure, it could change, but I didn't like that aspect of it. And I know we're only, week 1 of this build, so it could change, but I didn't like that line of it. But overall, again, this was more promo based than actual wrestling matches. There are some, but I love this. I love this episode. This roster, like I said, the NWA roster just knocks it out of the park when it comes to promos, week in and week out. I hope all is well. Dealer versus Villain is another must-see episode. Hope all is well.